All right, so in this lesson video, we're going to take this idea of multiplying two polynomials together, like the ones that you see here, and take that idea and put it into an equation and use it to help us solve an equation. All right, so first of all, these first four problems here are review for you. These are like the ones that we've been working through last week. So to work through these, you can either use the distributive property, like for example here in the second box up top, you can distribute the negative 2x squared to every term inside of the parentheses, or you can use a generic rectangle, all right? Like for example, with any of these, and specifically I'll show you with the first one, we can draw a rectangle and write the dimensions on the outside, 6x minus 11 and 2x plus 5, and find the area of each individual rectangle, and then write the area as a product, which it is up top, and as a sum, which would be the sum of all the boxes. So I'm going to let you work on those on your own, and you'll bring that into class completed on Thursday, and we'll go through those together. What I'd like to show you in this video is how we can use this process of multiplying out the parentheses to help us solve an equation, okay? When we solve equations, remember the goal is to get x, or whatever the variable is, by itself, all right? And before, the process that we've used is to first simplify both sides of the equal sign, move all x's to one side and all constants to the other, and then start asking ourselves, who's still bothering x, how is it attached, and we do the opposite to get x by itself. Before, when we were simplifying, it meant just combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. Now, we're going to add an extra step to simplifying. It's going to mean distribute or multiply out those parentheses and combine like terms. So in this first example, on the left, we have a parenthesis we can multiply out. You can make a generic rectangle, or if you want, you can just use the distributive property to help you out with that. 2 times 5x plus 2 times a negative 3 equals 14, which means 10x minus 6 equals 14. I have simplified both sides of the equal sign. I distributed, I got rid of my parentheses, and I combined like terms. Now we'll continue solving like we always do. We have to move the 6 over to the right side. It's a negative 6, so I'll add 6 to both sides. 10x is equal to 20, and then who's still bothering x? That 10, it's attached by multiplication, so I'll divide both sides and find that x is equal to 2. In the next example, I've got multiplying to do on both sides of the equal sign. I'm going to create a generic rectangle for the multiplication we need to do on the left. The dimensions of that rectangle are x plus 2 and x minus 5. Finding the area of each individual box in the top left, it's going to be an x by x, so x squared. Top right is x times a negative 5, or negative 5x. Bottom left, it's 2 times x, or 2x. And bottom right is 2 times a negative 5, or a negative 10. So that product on the left multiplies out to be x squared minus 3x. And again, I get that from combining the 2x, positive 2x, with the negative 5x, and then minus 10. That's going to equal the product on the other side, and for that, I'm just going to use my distributive property. X times x gives me x squared. X times a negative 5 gives me a negative 5x. I have no like terms to combine on either side of the equal sign, so now I just get all of my x's over to one side and all of my constants over to the other. I'm going to subtract an x squared from both sides, and that wipes out my x squared terms. So I have a negative 3x minus 10 is equal to a negative 5x. I'll move all of my x's over to the right side, so I'll add 3x to both sides, and I have a negative 10 is equal to a negative 2x, and then the negative 2 is still bothering x, and it's attached by multiplication. So I'll divide both sides by negative 2, and positive 5 is equal to x. And that's all there is to it. So after you practice distributing and multiplying with generic rectangles in the beginning problems of this notes worksheet, what I'd like you to do is try these 4 practice problems at the bottom here, where you are distributing or multiplying out parentheses and then combining like terms and then moving through your regular equation solving process. X's to one side, numbers to the other, and then work to get x by itself. When you come back into class on Thursday, I'd like to see that you've tried these problems, and then we'll go over them together and make corrections if needed.